Bonjour mes amis et bienvenue à ma cuisine. Hello my friends and welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to be making poté au choux, which is a French style stew with 3 different kinds of meats. And the choux part is cabbage. We are also going to be making a rustic soda bread and French apple cake. So let's go ahead and get started by prepping all of the vegetables. So now that those vegetables are cut, we're going to prep the pork, because that is going to go in before the cabbage and the parsley. So we are going to break this down into smaller, more manageable pieces, because we do not need this whole 10.5-pound pork butt into the stew. That's a little excessive. Okay. Now, ham hocks are smoked pork knuckles. They sound gross, but they're really delicious. And the recipe calls for 1.5 pounds, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna use 2 of these. It came in package of 3, so we're gonna use 2 of these. All right, so it smells really good because it's all smoked. All right, so now we're going to wash our hands and we are going to move to the stove. Okay. So now that we have prepped most of our ingredients, we are going to begin by sauteing our onions and a little bit of vegetable oil in. I use vegetable oil for this instead of olive oil because olive oil has too much of a bold flavor, whereas vegetable oil or canola oil is more of a neutral flavor. So we're gonna get this heat going to about medium, and then we're going to add in our onions. And then once the onions are nice and brown, we're gonna stir in our garlic and our herbe de Provence. And so what we are using here, this is a brazier. It looks a lot like a Dutch oven, but it is shallower and it's wider, so it allows for more even cooking. So just so you know the difference between a brazier and a Dutch oven. Great googly mooglies. Woo! You gotta power through. Power through. Oh, oh my gosh. All right, we're making it work. We're making it work. Okay. And now we are going to get the rest of our ingredients ready for the remainder of our stew, and then we're gonna work on the bread. Okay, so let's go. Okay. All right, so now we are going to make our soda bread. Okay. This is a type of bread that does not require any yeast. So we are going to, the first couple of steps say to whisk together the flour, the baking soda, the cream of tartar, salt, and sugar, and then rub the butter in with your fingers. But it's so much easier to just put everything into a food processor and let that do the work for you. So using bread flour and not all-purpose flour, it makes a difference. This will make your bread taste that much better because it has a higher concentration of gluten. That looks good. All right, we're gonna transfer this over to our Dutch oven. All right, transfer this to the Dutch oven. And now we need to score the top. Now scoring the top, what that does is it allows steam from inside of the dough to escape. Right. Wow. So our 15-minute timer went off for the bread, and so I bumped the temperature down from 425 to 350, and now it needs to bake for another 40 minutes at 350. I checked the stew and the ham hocks aren't quite ready to be shredded, so it's going to stay in the oven for about another 20 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start making the cake. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to I'm going to tell you the cake. It is French apple cake. It's a recipe that David Leibovitz has adapted from Dory Greenspan, both living in Paris. The stew is definitely ready. The real question is, are the ham hocks ready? I don't think they are, but it'll be fine if they're not, because they will have added their flavor to the stew. Here's one. And there is two. Come on. All right. Now we're gonna see if we can shred some of this ham off of the ham hocks. Forks. Okay. Oh, here we go. It's still a little too, doesn't want to come off of the bone. So we're just gonna go ahead and put these back in, and they'll just sit in the stew and it'll be fine. There's enough stew here where we'll have leftovers at least for a day, maybe 2. Who knows? Depends on how hungry people are. And then in about 10 minutes, we're gonna check on the cake. And then we'll be all set for dinner. All right? So, this is gonna go back in the stew. Whoop. All right. All right. All right. So the timer for the cake just went off. Ooh, that looks so good. I think it could go a little bit longer. We're gonna let it go a couple more minutes. In fact, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to up the temperature just to caramelize the top. The bread in half. Look at that, nice, crusty outside, soft inside. Look at that. It's so nice. That's our timer for the cake. And look at this beauty. All right, I'm going to run knife around the edges here. And then carefully, we're going to release. Okay. Et voilà! Un gâteau de pomme. An apple cake.
And there you have it, folks. Potato choux, soda bread, and French apple cake. Bon appetit!